Hey guys, Jonah here, back with another beer review. Yeah, sorry I didn't do a review yesterday, but I was at the Royston because unfortunately it was Sam's last day. Sam is Andy's, well, was, should I say, Andy's number two man. And yeah, he's gone to become like a chef stroke, working in a restaurant, assistant manager type thing, potential for more money. I can kind of see why he did it. But he'll be sorely missed because he was the guy that kind of I saw the most. He was my bar steward at the Royston. So it'd be a real shame. Yeah, I think it's really going to change the dynamic there. But I had a fair few beers there, walked down to a different pub, um, got a bit elbowed to the side actually, which was a bit weird. And then people kind of noticed I was there and went, "Oh, hey, John, come and join us." And it was like, "Oh, yeah, didn't you see me for the last half an hour?" Anyway, yeah, had a couple of drinks and a chat in there. Walked back up the hill to go home. Stopped at another pub and then noticed that the Royston had put two more beers on since I'd left. It was absolutely nuts. So I think it was 14 beers for the day yesterday, which is pretty good for me. And for February, which is the shortest month, 147 beers drunk in February. Ridiculous. And I might have missed a couple because a couple of those days I had drunk quite a lot of beer, believe it or not. Anyway, the beer we're doing today is Old School. I think I might have done this previously. If you're new to the channel and want to see my previous review, please join up, sign up, subscribe, all that kind of jazz. But it's Ghost Ship by Adnams. And for some reason, it's not focusing on the Adnams, it's focusing on my arm. There we go. Beyond the Pale. This beer has been around for ages. The brewery was established in 1872, so it says there. They have been in trouble of late, Adnams, but I don't think they're in as much trouble as we thought they were, because they're still around. It says there, whispers of aromatic elderflower, bold citrus, and gooseberry flavors. I don't know if it tells us what the hops are, but I'm sure it's got Citra in. 4.5%. It's a pale ale. They're not claiming it's an IPA like a lot of places, but there's a lot to like about this beer. It's got a neck chief, which I really like, and even an Adnams style top. I think that is a fantastic, yeah, fantastic beer. You can get it in cans as well in the supermarket. I'm not sure if the can is the same. A lot of these breweries nowadays, they brew one different beer for bottles and cans. That makes no sense to me. You have to brew two different beers, either that or water down one of your beers. And why the hell would you do that? Very nuts. But Ghost Chip, this was gifted to me as a present for passing, yeah, passing my training course. It took basically all of February to do. This was gifted by Christine Croyne, so thank you very much, Christine. Legend in her own lunchtime. Um, if you're involved with camera at all, you'll definitely have heard of Christine. She does a lot of good stuff, especially around the London area. Yeah, although she goes abroad a lot, which is crazy. I'd quite like to do that, but I don't have enough time. And unfortunately, I don't get paid for any of my beer related stuff. Um, yeah, and I'm not rich, so I can't do it from that either. Hey, maybe that lottery win will come in at some point. Fingers crossed, eh? Right, I've got my what would you call this? I call it my Guinness glass, but it's the straight-sided kind of glass, conical glass. That's what it's called. Um, which is cool. This has been sitting in the fridge for a few days, almost a week actually, because since I got back from St Albans. And there we go, 500 ml, so it doesn't obviously fill the glass totally. Wow, look at all that stuff stuck on the side. Need to shoot the washer upper, but then I'd have to do it, so I'm not too worried. Yeah, absolutely crystal clear. Apart from those bubbles, if I zoom in, you can definitely see me there. Unfortunately, some of the bubbles stuck on the side. With regards to head, we have a distinct lack of head, which is a shame. I was trying to work out if this is a bottle conditioned beer or not. I suspect that it might be, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, absolute classic beer. Nice, easy drinking. Oh, happy spring. Pinch punch, first of the month. All that kind of stuff. And yeah, spring has sprung, the grass is frizz. I wonder where the birdies is. Or if they're anywhere in Thanet, they're wearing micro mini skirts already. And I saw a guy in shorts walking around in the supermarket, and he had Havianas on with socks and shorts. It's like, dude, if you're that cold, just put proper shoes on and trousers. You're wearing shorts. Jesus, don't wear socks. Nuts, absolutely nuts. But better than that, detainee chic, as I used to call it, um, pool sliders and socks. It is a fashion with the, let's call them the down and outs, the chavs of the world. Please don't wear that. It is such a faux pas. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. You look like an idiot, especially where you're wearing them with jogging bottoms. You look like an absolute prick. Don't fucking do it. Uncle John says so. Okay, let us dive into it. Let's get a good old nose because it's cold. I'm getting citrus, but it's pretty cold this beer. So maybe I did a disservice by putting it in the fridge. But I like a cold beer for springtime. Cheers and beers, guys. So up front, a lot of fizz, a lot of that carbonic kind of thing going on, but it's a really light beer. Lovely, lovely citrus. I'm 100% convinced this has got citra in, but it's probably got a few other hops in there. Um, yeah, it's a little bit more old school, this one. It's more kind of it's British beer. I know citra is American hop essentially, but it is grown elsewhere, but I'm pretty sure this was American version. But it's in that kind of British style, a bit more bitter, um, less kind. Well, it's definitely not cloudy, so it's not a hazy beer. But there's no tropical fruits there. This is more old school. Maybe it's got some other American variant hops in there. Um, yeah, I wouldn't like to guess, but yeah, there's a bit of fruit in there, but it's really clean, really crisp, really grassy, bit of lemon, bit of lime, that kind of thing going on. Really, really nice. Yeah, really cool. This is not called. If this was made nowadays, they call this an IPA, because it has got quite a good bitterness. However, it is not an IPA by style. It is far too weak on alcohol, and look how clear it is now. Now that those bubbles have disappeared and dissipated, um, yeah, it's not bitter enough to be an IPA in my book. Although you might be able to smidge it a little bit. But yeah, the colour's kind of there. Um, I'm so glad they call this a pale ale. It's a hoppy pale. A lot of people used to do these kind of beers. Um, yeah, and look at that colour. That is classic IPA colour. Um, but yeah, the alcohol content essentially is what backs this off, and the IBU's not being too high. Oh, pardon me, dear viewer. That absorbed gas, that carbon dioxide, being absorbed back into the liquid. Because I put it in the fridge, it's done a bit more, and obviously hit my warm tummy, and then turn back into the gas, and out it comes. I'm unapologetic when I do a bit of belching. So if you're offended, please don't think I'm meaning to offend you. I apologise. But as a man who drinks beer, especially when I'm drinking near on a pint, yeah, these things are going to happen. Oh, lovely beer. Super smooth. I've had this on cask as well. And I think I've had it on draft as well. They do it always. Um, but yeah, having this on cask, it gives that smoothness. In the bottle, I'm actually questioning myself as to whether this is bottle conditioned because there's no sign of any yeast at all. Um, yeah, and the bottom of the bottle is absolutely clean, which kind of implies that it's not bottle conditioned, which is a shame because it's a traditional brewery. Um, that seems to be the way of the world these days. The traditional methods, which in any other way would make it craft, it would make a craft product. But of course, when it comes to beer, craft beer has to be hazy and has to be trendy and all that kind of nonsense. It can't be a traditional beer, which is, for me, craft, artisanal, artisan, all this kind of stuff. That is what these people do. Um, and it's weird because if you go to places like Belgium, people love Belgian beers, but a lot of people don't like British beers, especially the people in Britain. They want to get their beers from everywhere else. Right, how are we doing for time? We've only just gone over the 10 minutes. So let me get this finished and you guys can get on your way. And then I'll be back, as you know, tomorrow with another review. Oh, lovely beer. Good bit of bitterness. Look at that. Nice line there. Shame the head wasn't so big at the start. Right, let me put that over there. There is my review, or perhaps my re-review. Like I say, join the John Army by clicking subscribe to the channel. If you're here, that means I must have entertained me and you. And yeah, I'm obviously doing something right. So click like, click subscribe, all that kind of jazz. That is the ghost ship. And Uncle John will return with another beer review. And that's coming up real soon.